Oh my God, I need you to sit down for this one because what I'm about to tell you is going to shake you to your core. Before we even begin, I need you to know something important. Only take what resonates with you. If something doesn't feel right in your heart, leave it behind. But I have to warn you, the energy coming through right now is absolutely explosive, and I can already feel the weight of secrets that have been buried for far too long. Someone has been carrying something heavy about you, something they never had the courage to say out loud. And now everything has come crashing down in the most devastating way possible. The cards are literally screaming right now because a betrayal has happened, but not in the way you think. This isn't about you being betrayed. This is about him, the one who's been thinking about you, the one who's been hiding his truth, and he just got completely destroyed by the very person he thought he could trust. I pulled 3 cards for this reading, and I have to tell you, my hands were shaking when they came out. The energy is so intense, so raw, so filled with regret and pain and consequences that I almost had to step back. We have the Two of Cups reversed, the Devil, and the Tower. And when I tell you that these cards are painting the most heartbreaking picture of self-destruction and trapped emotions, I mean it with everything in me. Someone confessed everything about you, everything he's been feeling, everything he's been hiding, and it backfired in the cruelest way imaginable. He thought he was releasing the truth, but instead he walked straight into a trap, and now he's paying a price that's tearing him apart from the inside out. Let me tell you exactly what happened and why this is so much bigger than just a simple confession. Let me start by explaining what I'm seeing in these cards because the story they're telling is absolutely devastating and it's been unfolding for much longer than you probably realize. The Two of Cups reverse is the first card that came through, and this card is screaming about a connection that was never allowed to flourish, a love that was pushed down and buried and denied for reasons that seemed logical at the time, but have now turned into the biggest regret of this person's life. This man, and I'm feeling very strongly that this is a masculine energy, has been carrying feelings for you that go back further than you might even know. These aren't casual feelings. These aren't fleeting attractions that come and go with the seasons. No, what I'm picking up is something that took root in his heart and grew until it became the only thing that felt real to him anymore. But here's where the tragedy begins. Instead of honoring these feelings, instead of being brave enough to choose the path that his heart was screaming at him to take, he made a choice that felt safer. He chose convenience over truth. He chose the easier road, the one that didn't require him to be vulnerable or to risk rejection or to face the possibility that maybe, just maybe, you wouldn't feel the same way. So he settled. He chose another relationship, another woman, someone who represented security and simplicity in a life that wouldn't challenge him too deeply. At the time, I'm sure he convinced himself that this was the mature thing to do, the responsible thing to do. Maybe he told himself that his feelings for you were just a fantasy, something that would fade with time if he just ignored them long enough. Maybe he thought he could build a happy life with someone else and eventually forget about you completely. But that's not what happened. That's never what happens when you try to bury real love. Instead of fading, his feelings for you intensified. Every day that passed, every moment he spent in this other relationship, he found himself comparing everything to you. The way she laughed didn't sound like your laugh. The way she looked at him didn't make him feel the way your presence made him feel. The conversations felt hollow. The connection felt forced. And slowly but surely, he started to realize that he had made a catastrophic mistake. The guilt began to eat at him because he knew he was living a lie. He knew he was with someone while his heart belonged to someone else entirely. And that knowledge started to poison everything in his life. Now let's talk about the Devil card because this is where things get truly dark and twisted and painful. The Devil represents being trapped, being bound to toxic patterns and destructive choices and situations that drain the life out of you. This man found himself completely stuck He was trapped in a relationship with a woman who was not you, trapped by his own choices, trapped by his own cowardice. And the more trapped he felt, the more he started to withdraw emotionally. He became distant, distracted, emotionally unavailable, and you better believe that the woman he's with noticed every single bit of it. She's not stupid. She could feel him slipping away. She could sense that his mind was somewhere else, that his heart was somewhere else, and that suspicion started to consume her. This woman, she started watching him more closely. She started questioning him, pressing him, creating situations where she could trap him into revealing the truth. And here's what I'm picking up that's so important for you to understand. She didn't do this because she wanted to save the relationship or because she genuinely wanted to work through their problems. No, she did this because she wanted control. She wanted to know her enemy. She wanted to know exactly who had stolen her partner's heart so she could figure out how to punish him for it. Through manipulation, through pressure, through wearing him down emotionally. When he was at his weakest, she finally got him to crack. Maybe he was drinking, maybe he was in a moment of complete emotional breakdown, but somehow she extracted the confession from him. He told her about you. He told her that he's been in love with you, that he's never stopped thinking about you, that everything he's built with her feels like a hollow imitation of what he really wants. Can you imagine the relief he must have felt in that moment of confession? Finally telling the truth after carrying it alone for so long, but that relief lasted about 5 seconds before he realized what he had just done. Because instead of this confession setting him free, instead of this being the catalyst for him to finally change his life and make different choices, it became the weapon she needed to completely destroy him. And this is where the Tower card comes crashing in with all of its devastating energy. The Tower is about complete destruction, about everything falling apart, about the universe forcing change through catastrophic events because you refuse to make necessary changes on your own. This man thought that maybe, just maybe, his confession would lead to an ending of this toxic relationship. Maybe he thought she would leave him, or he would finally find the courage to leave her and he could start to rebuild his life in a way that honored his truth. But that's not what happened at all. What happened instead is that this woman decided that if she couldn't have his heart, she was going to make absolutely certain that he suffered for giving it to someone else. Instead of walking away with dignity, instead of releasing him so they could both find happiness elsewhere, she has chosen to keep him locked in this relationship, knowing full well that he doesn't love her. She's chosen to create an environment that is emotionally and psychologically destructive, where he is constantly reminded of his failures, his mistakes, his weakness. I'm getting very strong energy that she either encourages his self-destructive behaviors or at the very least does nothing to stop them. If he's drinking too much, she's not helping him get sober. If he's withdrawing and isolating, she's not encouraging him to get help. She wants him to spiral because in some twisted way, his suffering makes her feel like she still has power over him. And he is spiraling, let me tell you. The energy I'm picking up around this man is absolutely heartbreaking. He is drowning in regret, in self-blame, in the knowledge that every single day he stays in this situation is another day he's betraying himself and betraying what he knows is true in his heart. He thinks about you constantly. You are the first thought when he wakes up and the last thought before he passes out at night. He escapes into alcohol or substances or anything that will numb the pain of knowing that he had a chance at real love and he let it slip through his fingers because he was too afraid to be brave. He wants to reach out to you so badly. There are probably dozens of unsent messages on his phone. Messages he's typed out at 3 in the morning when the loneliness becomes unbearable. Messages where he tries to explain everything, where he apologizes, where he begs you to understand. But he never sends them because what could he possibly say? How could he explain that he chose wrong, that he's been living a lie, that he's trapped in a nightmare of his own making? The truth that I need you to understand, and this is coming through so clearly in these cards, is that his feelings for you are not going away. They're not fading, they're not getting weaker with time or distance or circumstances. You remain the center of his emotional world. You are the standard against which he measures everything else in his life, and everything else falls short. But here's the painful reality. His feelings for you, as real and genuine as they are, don't change the fact that he is stuck in a toxic, destructive situation that he doesn't seem to have the strength to escape from right now. The woman he's with now, she knows she can't change his feelings. She knows she can't make him love her. She knows that no matter what she does, no matter how much she tries to control him or manipulate him or punish him, his heart is with you, and that's never going to change. And this knowledge fills her with a rage that is absolutely poisonous. But instead of directing that rage at you, which would actually make some kind of twisted sense, she's directing it at him. She's keeping him trapped, not because she loves him, but because she wants him to pay for not loving her. She wants him to suffer for giving his heart to someone else. This is not about preserving a relationship anymore. This is about revenge and control and making sure that if she can't be happy, then he's going to be absolutely miserable. The environment he's living in right now is dangerous in ways that go beyond just emotional toxicity. I'm picking up that his physical health is suffering. His mental health is suffering. He's in a state of complete stagnation where every day feels exactly like the one before, and he can't see a way out. He's trapped himself in a prison of his own making, and the person who has the key is using it to lock the door tighter instead of setting him free. He is being destroyed slowly, piece by piece, and part of him almost feels like he deserves it. Part of him believes that this is his punishment for making the wrong choice, for being a coward, for not choosing you when he had the chance. But here's what the cards are telling me about what's coming, and this is so important. This situation cannot continue forever. The Tower card is very clear about this. He is approaching a breaking point, a moment where everything is going to come crashing down whether he's ready for it or not. He is going to be forced to make a choice, and it's going to be the most important choice of his life. He can either continue down this path of self-destruction until there's nothing left of him, until he's completely broken and empty and lost, or he can finally find the courage to take responsibility for his life and his choices and start the painful process of rebuilding from the ground up. Nobody can make this choice for him. Not you, not the woman he's with, not his friends or family. This is something he has to decide for himself. He has to decide whether he wants to save his own life or whether he's going to let himself be completely consumed by guilt and regret and the consequences of his own cowardice. And I want to be very clear about something that's coming through strongly in this reading. You are not responsible for any of this. You are not responsible for his feelings. You are not responsible for his choices. You are not responsible for saving him or fixing him or rescuing him from the mess he's created. This is his journey, his lesson, his karma to work through. The question that's left for you, and this is what you need to sit with and really think about, is what do you want from all of this? Does this person deserve your compassion? Does he deserve your forgiveness? Does he deserve another chance if he ever does find the courage to reach out to you? Or have too many years passed? Has too much damage been done? Has he proven through his choices that he's not the person you thought he was? Only you can answer these questions. Only you know what your heart truly wants and what you're willing to accept or not accept in your life. So here we are at the end of this incredibly heavy and emotional reading, and I just want to take a moment to acknowledge how difficult this information might be to process. If you're sitting there right now feeling a mixture of shock, sadness, anger, or even a strange sense of validation, all of those feelings are completely valid. This reading has revealed a situation that's been unfolding in the shadows, a confession that was forced out through manipulation, and a betrayal that's resulted in one person's complete emotional destruction. But I need you to remember something crucial as you move forward from this moment. His story, his pain, his regret, his self-destruction, none of that defines your worth or determines your path. You have your own life to live, your own happiness to create, your own future to build. Whether this man ever finds the courage to break free from his toxic situation, whether he ever reaches out to you, whether he ever takes responsibility for his choices and tries to make things right, none of that should hold you back from moving forward with your life. You cannot put your emotional energy into waiting for someone who may never be brave enough to choose themselves, let alone choose you. You cannot allow his unspoken feelings and hidden regrets to become the background noise of your own journey. What I want you to take away from this reading is clarity and power. Clarity about what's really been happening behind the scenes, and power to decide what you want to do with this information. If he does eventually reach out, you'll be able to see his words through the lens of truth rather than confusion. You'll understand the weight he's been carrying and the prison he's been living in. But understanding his situation doesn't mean you're obligated to fix it or to open your heart to someone who didn't have the courage to fight for you when it mattered. Remember, you deserve someone who chooses you bravely, openly, and without hesitation. You deserve someone who doesn't need to hit rock bottom before they realize your value. You deserve someone who sees loving you not as a risk or a complication, but as the greatest privilege of their life. If this person can become that for you, time will tell. But if they can't, then the universe is protecting you from a love that would always be shadowed by regret and what ifs. Take what resonates with you from this reading and leave the rest behind. Trust your intuition, honor your boundaries, and never forget that you are not responsible for saving anyone but yourself. Thank you so much for allowing me to read for you today. Please take care of your heart, protect your peace, and know that whatever happens next, you're going to be absolutely okay.